what kind of book it'll be. Will it be fiction like mine with animals? Do we want to do an animal character?
Yeah.
Okay, so an animal character. So I need someone to raise their hand and tell me what kind of animal it's going to be. It can't be an iguana because we already have Iggy. And it can't be a dog because we do dogs way too often. So it needs to be something more interesting. In the very back. It's going to be a snake. All right. Now, is the snake going to be a boy or a girl? I need someone to decide. Right here. A boy snake. I need someone to name the snake. I need someone to name the snake. Right here. Snaky. So is Snaky his first name or is it like his nickname? His nickname. So Snaky. Now, does he have a more proper name as his first name? May I have his first name, please?
Slither.
Slither, the snake. So Slither prefers to be called Snaky. I wonder why. We're going to have to start asking ourselves these questions. So I need to know where he was born. Where's his hometown? Where's his hometown? Right over there.
Like in deserts.
In the desert, but I need a specific hometown. Specific, yes. His hometown is Houston, Texas. But does he still live in Houston, Texas, or has he moved? He's moved? Okay, where did he move to?
San Antonio.
He moved to Galveston. I wonder why. Keep asking yourselves these questions. I wonder why he moved from the hot, humid Houston to the humid Galveston. Okay, now, what does he like to eat? And let's make it funny. Not snake food and not rats. Let's make it funny. How about right here? Pizza? He loves a good slice of pizza. A particular one or every kind? Okay. What does he really like on top of it, though? I want to know a little bit more about his personality. He really likes pepperoni pizza. All right. Now, what does he like to drink? Besides water. We know he likes water, but what does he like on Saturdays after he plays? Right here. He likes soda, so I need to know what kind of soda. He loves Sprite. Sprite and pizza is Snaky's favorite drink. So he's always drinking Sprite in Galveston because he gets hot all the time. Now, I need to know what his favorite activity is. He definitely has to like to do something, right? He likes to dig? Oh, I love it. So he digs with his tail. So Snaky loves digging holes. I wonder if this gets him in trouble with his parents. Maybe he digs holes in places where he's not supposed to. We'll think about that. Now, what is something he doesn't like to do? He does not like this. Don't even ask him to do it because he won't. How about right? Who have I not called on? Right here.
Dance.
He does not dance. Maybe he had to dance in some kind of contest and he was embarrassed about it. So he will not do the snake dance anymore. He doesn't like to dance, but he will dig a hole, that's for sure. Now, what is his most embarrassing moment? While we're talking about something like that, what is his most embarrassing moment? Do we have it? Yes, right here in the green?
He farted in front of the class.
Oh, no! Okay, so, very good. That would be very embarrassing. Maybe while he was dancing. Maybe while he was dancing. Okay. That was a good one. I've never had someone that had the courage to just say it. Okay, so what is his biggest fear? What is his biggest fear?
Birds.
Birds. He does not like birds. Maybe they pick on him. The seagulls come and get him in Galveston. Very good. Now, I need to know a little bit more about Snaky's personality because we know that he likes to dig holes and maybe he does it behind his parents' backs. Maybe that's a big deal and something happens in the story and he gets in trouble and he learns a lesson. You never know. But what is his personality like? Because Iggy's shy and reserved and kind. Liz is outgoing and kind. Molly's kind of a little Miss Priss and a show-off. Snapshell's laid back, cool dude, he accepts everybody. What is Snaky's personality? Okay. He's shy. Maybe he digs holes because he wants to hide in them. Maybe so. So, do you start to see what Snaky looks like in your head? You know his personality. You know he's kind of shy. Maybe he's always wrapping himself up in a coil trying to hide in a hole. You never know, like a cobra. So, now that you know Snaky a little bit better, don't you think it's going to be easier to write a story about him?
Yeah.
Because what if you're sitting in the classroom and your assignment is to write a story about a snake? Okay, well, this snake slithered across the desert and he got sand in his eye and boring. You know, we need to know his name, we need to know what he likes, we need to know what he doesn't like, his most embarrassing moments. so that we can start writing a story, because then when we know a little bit more about him, we understand what the conflict in the story is. For a pack of Iggy baseball cards, who can tell me what a conflict in a story is? Because without a conflict, you do not have a story. And then I'm going to ask you why. In the pink, your hand went up first. The problem in the story, and can you tell me, whenever you fix the problem in the story, what is that called? Starts with an R. The resolution. Okay, so the conflict is the problem, so go ahead, pass these back. We'll have more prizes. So the conflict is the problem in the story that must be resolved, and that's called a resolution. Why in the world do you want a problem in a story? That sounds pretty bad if you ask me. Why would an author want a problem in their story? Yes?
Because they want it to be interesting.
It does make it interesting, but when we have problems and we figure out how to resolve them, what happens to us in the end? What happens? Right here. Yes.
You get better and learn from it.
You learn, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. You learn, can we pass that back? From your problem. And that's what life is all about, and that's really what books are all about. You'll see that all stories, they actually follow the same structure. Yes, we're creative whenever we write stories, but they all follow this structure of, we have, the whole plot, we understand what's going on, we develop our characters, we get to know them well, and then a problem occurs, and then it leads to the climax in the story. What is the climax in a story? What is the climax?
The biggest part of the story, like the exciting part.
The biggest part of the story, and that's when the whole resolution happens, right? So, very good. The biggest part of the story is the climax, so it's the most exciting. Now, the reason why we follow this structure of stories is to keep your reader interested. If we had a climax in the beginning of the story, how are you ever going to keep the reader reading up to page 150?
No, they're gonna say
No, we already figured it out. Actually, the writer figured it out for me. I didn't even get to figure it out on my own. We want to figure it out on our own as readers, right?
Yeah.
So very good. So do you have a few more ideas for when you go back into your classroom and write stories? Well, this is good news, because now, all of you may remember from last year, as an author, I'm also a publisher. So I also work on the books with all of the people, the illustrators, the graphic designers, the artists, all of those people. We work on the books together to make them a book. So as a publisher, I have a publishing company called Long Tail Publishing. So that means I can publish you if I wanted to, right? Okay, well, I have a contest that is going on until February 1st of next year, so until 2010, and it's called I Write Short Stories by Kids for Kids. And it is put on by my new literacy, so my new reading foundation called Read 30, and a few of your teachers, Mrs. Reed has a Read 30 t-shirt, so she'll be able to show that to you. But this really stands for you being creative, you making a stand to read for 30 minutes a day, because it makes you so much smarter, makes you so much more creative, and to start writing your own stories and draw your own characters. So, 3rd through 8th graders can now submit their short stories to me in the I Write Short Stories by Kids for Kids contest, and the winners will be published in a book. Has anyone ever thought of being an author at your age?
No.
Yes? Well, if you want to be an author at your age, your teachers will have this. I have a packet of all my creative writing stuff that can be copied and distributed. And I also have this here. This is also on the website. Your teachers will have the website for read30.com, so you can look all of this up if you need to. But you'll have to fill it out with your parents, this middle form. And then the back form is actually questions about your story. Because, as I told you, there's a way to write your stories. So I give you some tips right here. So if you wrote your story using those tips, you'll be able to answer these questions really, really easily. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to email me. I know some of you do. Or if you have any questions for your teachers, they'll have this information for you as well.